Hey, dreamers and wanderers, welcome back to another episode at Dream and Wanderland, the podcast. And I'm Pia, your host, dream manifestation mentor, tarot spirit guide, and creator of all Dream and Wanderland. And today's episode, I would like to talk about, what if you feel kind of lost, if you don't know anything about what you want, what you do, what your dreams are, what your desires are, and what it has to do with your childhood, or how your childhood could help you out of that feeling. So, this is the topic for today, and so let's start right into the episode and the topic. Just a little background to that topic from myself, because I know that feeling very well of not knowing what I want to do next, and all the things. And I was in that place a couple of years ago, to be specific. I would say maybe a year before COVID hit, like 2019 it must be. So at that time I already traveled quite a lot. I fulfilled my dreams of traveling. Of course, I went to quite some dream destinations that I always have dreamt about. And over the time, or over the years, somehow there was that a kind of feeling that I'm not really traveling anymore, because I wanted to travel and wanted to see all the places. Of course, that was still there, but it wasn't really anymore the real reason. I felt that there is something inside me that it was more about traveling, because of the traveling, because that would distract me from my real feelings at that time. So traveling wasn't anymore because I wanted to see all the places, at least not in its main reason, but it became more about a distraction from me, from my feelings, my emotions, my life at that time, because I felt nothing really moved forward somehow. I still was in the same job. I still had my blog. It didn't really, or at least it looked like it's not moving forward. I had my job, I had my blog, I had the traveling, yes, but somehow this didn't really fulfill me anymore. And so the traveling actually became a certain it wasn't really fulfilling anymore. And I already had, definitely during 2019, I had those feelings that the next vacation should be something, I don't know, where I have a nice long beach vacation, which is for me personally the most boring thing ever, because laying at the beach all day, I can't read that many books that I'm not bored, right? So for anyone else, this might be the best thing ever, but for me, it's nah. However, I had the urge to have a boring vacation so that I could not run away from my feelings at that time. And yeah, so that I was that bored that I didn't have another chance to actually look at what's going on inside me. So that far it was with my feelings and all the things. And at that time, if you had asked me what I want, I couldn't really answer that question. I wouldn't have an answer to that. And I didn't want to admit that, but to be honest, this was the case. And so I really know how it feels to be somehow lost and in a kind of dark place. And yeah, so that was 2019. I still had some travel plans. So in 2020, January 2020, I had my last big travel. It was a husky expedition, 10 and 12 days in the woods with minus 30 degrees Celsius in Russia at that time. And yeah, we went out there with huskies and those sledges pulled by those dogs, and sleeping in tents and having a bonfire at night and all the things. So it was an experience, and I did wanted to do that, but I already know that, and yeah, at that time I already planned the next vacation, or everything was booked already in April. WrestleMania, Florida. It was supposed to be like that, and it was already, I already planned a beach vacation as well. So it would be WrestleMania, and then right after WrestleMania to anywhere to the beach, and then hopefully being bored as much as possible so that I could look at what's going on with me. Well, we all know what happened in, I think it was around March 2020. Especially the US installed their traveling restrictions and everything was closed, and you couldn't enter the States anymore. And yeah, so 1 week before I was supposed to start into my big WrestleMania weekend and attached vacation, it was said that we couldn't travel anymore, especially not into the USA, and just a few days later, pretty much all the rest of the world as well. And yeah, so what should I do? Everything was booked. That was fine. I got all my money back. That's okay. However, I had that vacation, and I mean, I was still in employment, and we had to make sure to use up our vacation days. And I already had some days from the year before, because I didn't use everything up in 2019. So I took some over to 2020 and needed to actually make or have that vacation. And yeah, so retro, from looking at that times from today's perspective, that was, at least for myself, was the best what could happen. COVID, I mean, universe, it didn't really need it to be a pandemic, but it was obviously the only solution for the universe to have a little break for the entire world. For me personally, it was the best thing that could happen, because this gave me literally the time to not run away anymore, because I was locked in my apartment. We barely were allowed to go out. And so, I mean, what should I do? Minimum 2 weeks. I could reduce my vacation from 3 weeks to down to 2 weeks, but still 2 weeks locked up in an apartment. It's only, I don't know, 56 square meters, so it's not the biggest apartment. So there was I. And yeah, long story short, during that time I could relax, I could look at myself, and I decided at that time, in that vacation, I decided that it needs more work, and I want to do more work with myself, with what's going on, find out what is going on and how to solve that. And yeah, and somehow in the end I decided, if I can't go traveling the world, then I go on another journey with traveling inside my inner world. And this is what I did, and what I started in 2020. And from there, everything else has unfolded. How can I say that? Over the time and over the month, I started to follow for example, some self-development podcasts. From there, I don't know if it was the universe or just the algorithm of Facebook sent me some ads for workshops and things like that. And from those workshops, I ended up in coachings and personal development courses and mindset boot camps and all the things. And one thing, so during that time I also got in touch with a spirit guide reader or medium, or how you want to call it, and she was able to connect with spirit guides and channeling all kinds of answers to questions that I might have. And she also told me that for the question, what do I want? What do I want to do? What is my purpose? Why I am here? Where my passion are? I personally didn't have an answer to that. And then she kept on questioning. And one of the question was, what did you love to do in your childhood? And I looked at her and I didn't know what she meant. What has my childhood to do with my potential dreams that I have today? And I told her a couple of things, and I can't really remember what the outcome was. I think one thing that came to my mind was the traveling aspect, because I loved so one of the things that I loved to do when I was a child, or what I played all the time, was with my so the Eastern German version of the Barbie and her family. Her name was Petra. The the partner was Fred and the little sister was Peggy. And they and a couple of other, like my stuffed animals and things like that, were always, yeah, guess what? Traveling. I had, I don't know what it was, a little toy crib which I used as a sailing boat, and they were sitting there and sailed around the world and hopped from one island to another and had all kind of adventures on those islands. And so at that time I didn't really, it just came up later, or the dots playing with my dolls, traveling the world, and the fact that I love traveling so much and I always dreamt about traveling the world. Today, those dots were connected a little bit later than that reading. But this, yeah, that thought was planted in my head. And over the time, it came just suddenly in one moment, in a split second. I had that thought, oh, there's the connection between, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of logical. You love to play traveling the world in your childhood, then you might love to travel yourself when you're grown up. There might be a correlation, there might be a connection. And then I thought, okay, what else did I love when I was a child? And is there anything that I want or desire as a grown up? Is there any kind of connection? And guess what? It is. If it's conscious or not, I don't care, but I noticed a couple of things that I loved to do or play while I was a child, and is actually one of my dreams for today, or for my life, for my future. And what I would like you to try or dig a little bit deeper is, what about you? What have you done in your childhood? What were your favorite games or plays, or what did you play, or what was a topic that you played, or read books? Maybe the topic of your books is something that could be something that you want for yourself for today or for your future. Think about it. I mean, playing with my dolls, the actual activity, playing with my dolls, is not really something that I can detect somewhere in my life today. Playing around, maybe, yes, okay, who doesn't love to play? But with dolls, I'm not sure about that. But the actual topic of what I played with them, what they did, what I wanted them to do, traveling the world, sailing from one island to another, is definitely to be found in my grown-up life now. And it's although I already traveled a lot of places, and at least the half of the world. Okay, still not that much, but the only continents that are missing is Australia and Antarctica. And so there is quite a lot. And I still love it, and I still want to see more, and I would love to see everything. And this is my ultimate goal, to be that financial stable that I can actually don't need to worry if I tell my boss, don't know what you will do tomorrow, but I will sit on the plane towards wherever. And don't need to worry that I lose money or lose my job or whatever. Maybe I'm not working there anymore, if that. So yeah, so this is still one of my ultimate dreams, to be able to jump on a plane whenever I want and don't need to worry about when I need to come back or need to come back to the office or whatever. Locally independence. That's the ultimate goal. And yeah, just for an example, what else did I love to do in my childhood? We had those. So by the way, I grew up in Eastern Germany, GDR at that time. So Germany was still divided, and we had our own products, then similar to what they have in Western Germany, but obviously not the same brands, because we didn't have any brands. Not really. But we had similar stuff, and we had those Lego like plastic bricks, and I loved them. I love to build up all kinds of different houses, my dream homes, my little architecture projects. And when I didn't play with my dolls traveling the world, I did that. Built up one house, broke it down again because we didn't have enough bricks, and I built another one, and different forms and shapes, and I loved all of them. And then I imagined what I would do in those houses and dream homes, and this is what I loved. And for a short moment, I actually thought about studying architecture. I haven't done that because my mathematics, no, you probably don't want to live in a house that I might have calculated. Not a good idea. So I didn't study architecture. But I still love the idea of, having my own dream homes. That's one aspect. I want to have several properties and houses where I could live and design, at least the inside, to design how I want to have it. And there's still some kind of dream in the back of my head of actually flipping houses. And thank God for all those house flipping shows that, especially from the US, came over to Germany, to German TV. And I mean, flip or flop, fixer upper, all those stuff. I love to watch that. And I really love to see the difference from what it was before, those lift down homes, into what those guys have, what they made out of it, like really dream homes and dream designs and all the things. And to be honest, also what increase of value that built up. And it's completely fascinating. So there is also a little connection to that. And what else? I love to count all my money at the time, so my little piggy bank, and I got some pocket money from my parents every month, and I just love to count that, whether it was really the paper money or the coins. I love to stack them up and counted them, and whenever I was ready with counting them, I pushed everything all over and started again. It could have happened that I counted wrong, so I needed to be sure how much it really is. And somehow I still love money. I still love to see how my bank account is growing, if it's growing, and it literally hurts if it does the contrary, the opposite. That's what I wanted to say. And yeah, I still love money and I want to be rich. And oh, there's something, it just pops up in my head, because I hate to tidy up my room, to clean it. I hated everything that has to do with household or cleaning or tidying up everything. And I still hate that. I still don't like that. I still have my issues with keeping my apartment clean here. I have to admit that. And there, having someone who does it for me is still one of my dreams. For a very long time, I told myself, when I'm grown up, I will have a cleaning person that does all the things for me. Well, it took me about, let me think, from the first time that I had that thought, until when I actually caught myself grown up enough. I think it was about maybe 30 years in between. And then I had for very first time, I had a cleaning lady that cleaned my apartment here. And I loved that. I really loved her. Unfortunately, she left me. Anyways, there were others, but in the end, they really didn't. They couldn't keep up with her. So in the end, I decided to do it by myself again, or not doing it by myself. Anyways, cleaning lady, dream fulfilled, and I believe it's sooner or later I will have one again, but at the moment it's not my priority. So also there, look at what you didn't want to do when you were a child. Is there anything that you didn't love, that you didn't want to do, where you always argued with your parents when they told you you have to do that right now? Maybe there's a hint as well what you want. When you know what you don't want, then what is it what you want? And from there you could actually follow those breadcrumbs and find out what you really want by looking at what you not want, or when you look specifically to your childhood, what did you not want to do, not to eat, not to be, not to feel while you were a child? So this is another way of looking at things. And oh yeah, another thing that already was planted way back in my childhood is my love for wrestling. Yes, I am a wrestling fan, and it started in 1992. I was 8 years old, and when we came back from a family party for my brother's, um, it's called in German, it's called Jugendweihe. It's maybe something similar to a bar mitzvah in for Jewish people, where you that transformation event from childhood to a grown up. I know there are probably some other reasons and purposes behind a bar mitzvah, but it's a similar important event in Germany when you're not religious, especially in Eastern Germany. It's still the biggest thing for a young adult. And yeah, so we had that big party for my brother, and after that we went back home and switched on the TV, and what was on there? I guess it was a Royal Rumble or something. Royal Rumble 1992. Or maybe it was a WrestleMania as such. I don't know. Something, one of the pay-per-views, well, how it is called at that time. And what should I say? I was in love immediately when I saw the first thing. I couldn't help myself. I was in love with wrestling. Especially in my childhood, I was in love with Bret Hitman Hart. Hi, if you see that, it's me. I still love you. And actually, 2010, I never win anything, or I have never won anything in my life so far. But in 2010, there was a lottery about a meet and greet with Bret Hitman Hart. And guess who has won the tickets for that? Oh, it was me. Yeah, I still have a picture with him shaking my hand, saying how cool Germany is and how much is meant to him that we are there. I still have an autograph from him. It's still here. Yeah, a childhood dream came true. What should I say? And yeah, I still am a wrestling fan today, and without that, I probably would never started to travel at all, because actually being at a WrestleMania again after the first one, also in 2010 actually, yeah, without that wish to be there again and attend another WrestleMania live in the stadium, I probably wouldn't have started traveling, because it's in the States. So far it is still every year in the States, and yeah, I needed to go there somehow. And in 2014, this is where it ties up with my traveling journey, or the journey towards fulfilling my dream of traveling, is when, so in 2010, I was the first time at a WrestleMania with a group of friends. And after that, I always asked them again, do we want to go next year again? And I always got a no. And 3 years later, I was quite frustrated that they don't want to join me for another WrestleMania. And then, yeah, I always had the issue that no one really wanted to join me on my journeys and my wishes of a vacation or traveling there and traveling elsewhere. And so at that time I stayed at home just because no one else wanted to join me. I mean, how frustrating and sad is that? Well, in the end, I was that mad and angry and frustrated that I couldn't help myself, but I said, okay, now until here and not further. If you don't want to go to another WrestleMania, then I don't freaking care, but I will go there. And this is where I decided and swore to myself that within the next 2 years, I will be at another WrestleMania. And then the rest is history. I mean, then all the things came together. I got that newsletter for the travel packages. I booked the travel package. I got the credit card increase so that I could pay the travel package. And then I saw the possibilities. When I go alone, then I could go longer than a weekend. And why not making it a whole extended vacation out of that? And then I started to think about where to go. I don't want to stay. It was New Orleans at that time, New Orleans, Louisiana. And okay, on the map, there's New Orleans. What else is there? Where could I go? OMG, Florida is not far away. And oh my gosh, Walt Disney. I have to go there. That's part of my bucket list for that vacation. Then what else? Key West, OMG, and OMG, there are the Bahamas. I need to go there. And then from there, every single puzzle piece came together and made that my very first solo travel and WrestleMania trip. That was literally fulfilling of a dream. Not only a childhood dream, obviously, but also my dream from my teenage years that really established while I had that geography project, which I talked about in the previous episode. I could put you the link of that in the show notes so that you could check that out as well if you like. So it was everything. It was wrestling, it was traveling, it was childhood dreams, teenage dreams, grown-up dreams, and I mean, it doesn't only opened up my horizon, it also changed me a lot from a very shy person to someone who eventually found out what actually I could do if I really want to. I mean, traveling alone with my limited English at that time in a country that speaks not German, and still surviving, still find the way to the hotel, picked up a rental car, drove through the half of the country, it felt like. I mean, Louisiana to Florida, okay, it's not that big stretch, but it's 2 states, and with the Bahamas, another country in the end. So a whole new thing for me, and so life-changing. And not only from those realizations, it also opened up so much more possibilities of things that I could do and want to do and want to go. I mean, at that time I was completely focused. Now that I knew that I can travel, even if no one wants to join me, I could do whatever I want. I mean, I could take vacation outside of school holidays because I was already working at the time. I didn't have a partner at that time, no kids, no teachers around me. I didn't need to wait for friends who are a teacher or have children to join me. I didn't need to pay attention to any budget just because someone else couldn't afford, renting a house on the Bahamas for a whole week, or pay 3,000 euro for a travel package for WrestleMania. I guess at that time it was 2,000 euro. So not that bad. But still a lot of money for quite some of my friends, especially for those who prefer to got married, having kids, building houses, or things like that. I spend all my money on traveling. Best decision ever, I tell you. So I guess that's it, what I wanted to tell you. Always and all the time, deciding on traveling alone was the best decision ever, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone anywhere. If I always had waited for someone to join me, I never would have traveled at all, probably. And the second thing is, literally, if you don't know, especially if you don't know what you want to do at the moment, if there is a certain feeling of you don't know where your life will lead you, what's happening, this feeling of being lost somehow, then there are other possibilities as well to look at, but looking at your childhood is one of them, and I would love for you to try that, to really travel back to your childhood, whether it's just, I don't know, via journaling or via meditation, or just staring out of the window and think back, what have you done when you were a child? What have you loved? What have you not loved? What have you loved to do, to play, to any kind of hobbies? Did you love, I don't know, doing something with horses? Maybe there is some kind of dream, wish, desire, purpose, maybe. Yeah. So this definitely can be a possibility to find out what you truly want, what your dream is, what you desire, what you want for yourself, for your life, from life. And then follow those dreams and actually make them happen. And this is the last word for today. I hope you liked that little story time, and hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you need help with anything, feel free to reach out, comment, send me emails. We could have a chat of maybe you would like to join one of my workshops or programs, or I have a very new Manifesting with the Moon membership upcoming. It starts with the new moon in November 2024, and if you'd like to join, you will receive at least 2 tarot readings per month, new moon and full moon. If there are more than one of each of them, or however, then you will receive another reading for that one too. You will receive a PDF with all the information regards to the actual energies of that specific moon, and how to use that energies for actually manifesting your dreams. And every quarter we will have a meet-up online, some kind of full moon circle or new moon circle, it depends. And so if you like to be in such kind of community as well, where we could talk about all our dreams all the time, then feel free to join that as well. And then I wish you happy manifesting, and may all your dreams come true. Bye.